Some of these people that's around us, breathing next to us, they don't deserve the right to have oxygen.
Facts.
They a waste of oxygen. And we think, we still love them. But they're a total waste of breath.
Facts.
And then you got some of them that every breath is worth gold to have them breathing here.
Facts.
And then you got a spectrum between the two because we live in the land of polarities. The holograph, you have to understand the polarities. In order to know the difference, you have to understand how to do a comparative analysis. Dr. Neely Fuller told me, if you tell me this is the good guy and that's a bad guy, show me a bad guy and then explain to me the difference in the two. Comparative analysis. Comparative analysis allows the God mind to break free from the 3D socialized domesticated mind. You setting your taco mouth free, your monkey mind free.
Facts. Yeah. Shout out to the ancestor. He joined the realm of the ancestors not too long ago. Neely Fuller. This is one of his dopest piece of works that I've read. Is the compensatory counter racist code. Man, this is a principle. Like, this book is definitely something that every household should have in it, because it breaks down the 9 areas in which that whole system was constructed on and what it uses to try to keep the masses under that sleep spell. And
I was fortunate enough to get to talk to him before he passed too.
Wow, for real? That's what's up.
I talked to him a couple years ago because I wanted to make sure I understood the writing of the book and how to use it. When he got done explaining it to me, and then I said, this is the counter-offensive to the oppressive white supremacist mentality. But it's not a guide to oppress pale-faced people that we call white. It's how to break yourself free mentally and spiritually from the shackles of the tyranny we was under. If you use a side-by-side comparative analysis, everything they said they was going to do to control us in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion is everything he's giving you the defense structure to in his United Compensatory Code.
Yes, sir. That's a whole nother call. Look. Somebody in the chat, I gotta find it, but shout out to the chat, the tribe member who dropped the comment about putting together courses for people who are new to this. That's something that we definitely had to chop it up about, because I was just talking to Heru today, Professor Kaba's son, about something similar to that, because there's so much information that we have access to that a lot of people have never heard of, haven't been exposed to, or that just simply want to learn and get to the next level with. So I want to try to figure out different ways that we can kind of put that together, for the tribe and for the family, man, because it's real. And a lot of people are waking up at an alarming rate. So we need more healers. We need more teachers. We need more, people to hold it down. So it's like, we got to get the information, the elevation out there to as many people as possible. So I'm hopefully find that comment and bring it to the forefront. And then shout out to Cola for the, matter of fact, this comment right here says it all. It says that the people are hungry, and feed us. The sage is healing. I am the street. Can we get a council and a regular meeting, or where is it? That's one. I think that might have been one of the comments I was talking about. But so, you getting to hear that, family. Yep, my bad. I mean, you got it.
Yeah. So I'm out here on social media. I'm just giving away free game. But when I get done with this internship on my social media campaign, and I get to divorce myself finally from social media, because it's the most naggingest, sufferingest wife a motherfucker could ever ask for.
Listen. I love y'all, man. We love the people, because I promise.
But when I get done, I'll be instituting programs, leadership program, doula training, which also includes training herbalists and natural healers and naturopaths, right? And business training, and the rites of passage for the boys and girls. Because the thing is they teaching us how to be somebody else's servant. They're not teaching us how to take our destiny in our own hands. They're not teaching us about the principle of being autonomous, of being self-determinate, right? I never heard the word self-determination the whole time I went to school.
Because school is not created for us to even think that thought of self-determination, because the school system.
I never one time heard the word autonomous in the whole time I went to school in the educational system.
And you won't.
I learned them words studying with Nation of Islam brothers. Sovereign. Sovereignty. You know? I used to have to dissect. My first teacher, Everett X, he was from the Nation. Everett X told me, he say, you need to know the words that people saying, what they actually mean. Because the communication breakdown come with most of us don't know the definition of certain words, and we use them freely. And we'll even change the context of the word. So we didn't even see the shift. And if you don't know the history of the word, the etymology, basic conversation can become frustratingly confusing to the point where you erupt in a rage just from trying to communicate.
That's powerful, because now when you say that, and I love that you said that, when you say that's extremely powerful, because now we're going to go to Kemet, and I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, one image in Kemet, let's just say, for example, the Ankh, right? One image in Kemet can be translated to mean, I think, was it like 1,000 like words or messages or something like that, in regards to what symbolism and imagery means to our psyche. You know, when we talk about
right. So every symbol has an effect on the subconscious mind. Because you don't remember your past lives, you don't know why the symbol is affecting you like that. And therefore, you can't use the energy that the symbol is causing you to produce, because you don't understand what's taking place between you and the symbol. This is how they talk over our head using symbolism, because the symbolism that you don't understand confuses you to the reality that you in. And so once you learn the language of symbols, they can't get nothing past you, because you can read a family crest, you can read the hieroglyphics, you can read all of the things, sigils and codes that they use as emblems and monikers. All that stuff matter. When you driving down the street and you seeing all of those signs for restaurants, those are all Masonically coded. And I don't give a damn whose sign it is, because the sign maker was one of the guilds, and they became proficient in putting the conjure in the sign without even the owner and designer of the sign knowing it's in there.
That's deep. That's real deep, because now you're talking about, like, okay, so when you say that, and this, I feel like it's relevant to what we're talking about, especially when we talk about encoding and encrypting messages. So what is that? How does that kind of correlate to what we see on the dollar bill? When you see that pyramid with the triangle with the eye, what does that have to do with any of this?
Well, those symbols tell you who the contract was between. Right? If you look on a dollar bill, $20 bill, $5 bill, right? You're going to see on one side of the bill, it's going to be Treasurer of the United States. And on the other side, it's going to be Secretary of the Treasury. Now, if you know banking, the rank is the same, but the system is different. So this is your private bank getting the permission from the public bank to print the money on behalf of the public bank. As if the public bank is backing the money. But the immunity is on the private bank. The private bank can't be prosecuted because it's not a legal fiction, right? So when you're looking at those symbols, you're seeing that it was a contract between two different groups.
Now, let me ask you. Oh, go ahead.
So the eagle is supposed to be an eagle, but it's actually the symbol for the Scottish Rite Freemasonic Lodge, right? And the pyramid is the symbol for the temple priesthoods of the Kemetic priesthood.
Yes, sir.
But this is all done in our face, behind our back. Those are secret symbols.
I.e. secret societies, right?
Yeah. But the society ain't secret.
Right.
The only secret is that the stuff that they teach is yours and you don't know it yet.
That part. Oh, man. So let me ask you.
They wrote a book that say they stole it. You must return it.
George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy.
Who the hell was he talking to? Because I took it personally.
I thought he was talking to the Greeks. That's what I took it as. The people who infiltrated Kemet.
They stole it. You must return it. You talking to me. Go get what they stole, Rod. Because I took it personal. It's a direct message and a direct instruction from one of the ancestors who was a wise elder.
Oh, yeah.
And then he gave me a treaty to know who did it, where them niggas came from, what they stole, but he don't know how to get it back. They all told the same story.
Yeah.
Elijah told us who did it and how they did it, but we didn't understand what he was telling us because the symbolism. We didn't understand the symbols. We think when he said Fard Muhammad was a lie, that we didn't know that Fard mean the wages, and Muhammad means praiseworthy. So he was the sacrifice in order to conceal the Claire Muhammad, the mother. Mirror opposite directly. He's exactly not what she is. She's dark-skinned, the dark mother, the Black Madonna. He's a pale-faced Turk. Right? He's a Mohammedan, and she's the mama. And Muhammad also had a mama then. So no, there is no great man that didn't come from a great woman. Because only certain women can produce greatness. And it shows in the son that she raises. And the royal blood is betrayed by the noble character. So when mama teach you what's right, and papa teach you how to survive, and you take from both sides without taking sides, then you can break the generational curses that hold you back.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And you know, shout out to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because he broke. I literally skipped to page 108 in Message to the Black Man, and he's talking about the processional 25,000-year cycles. He's talking about Yaqub. He's talking about the 6,000-year cycles. Like, all this information been out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I saw somebody that said, Cola, what's the best Kemetic book you can study or buy. There's so many.
All
I think that's the thing. It's so many. It's all like
but
pencil and
if you wanna a good comedic teacher that's over here that put out books, tapes, videos, and have programs, look up Muwada Ashby in Florida from the Egyptian Sema Yoga. Muwada Ashby is the highest ranking Egyptian priest on the land that's not in the custody of the government. His only counterpart is Malachi York.
That's deep. I was trying to find. I believe I might have some of his work, but I couldn't find it just yet. But that's deep though. Because I didn't know that Dr. York had a peer, someone who was on his level in regards to teaching, the metaphysics and comedic sciences.
Look, my job is all the tribes on the land got a doctrine.
Mm.
I have to study them before I start my work.
Mm.
Because I have to unify the tribes by showing them where their elders already told them the shit that I'm telling them.
Mm.
I'm just weaving it together, and Elijah said, make it plain enough for a baby to understand. And Malachi said, use right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding. And Larry Hoover said, it ain't gang banging, it's brain banging, hit the books. Right? And Angel Bay say, stand firm in your convictions and don't be moved. And Tookie say, even if they freeze you in ice, stand your ground.
Mm.
Hold fast to your manhood and your principles and your values, and teach it to our sons. And use us as examples of the struggle. The protracted struggle been a 500-year struggle to get the imposters off the land that look like us, but them niggas ain't us.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
They've been misleading us through the whitewashing of history to believe that the paleface had some kind of power. All of them puppets.
Yeah.
All of them puppets.
Yeah.
I don't want no puppet. I want the puppet master. Mm-hmm. You can keep Pinocchio. I want Geppetto.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't stop my strategy with Pinocchio.
Mm.
I get rid of him easy. I just cut his strings.
That part.
But Geppetto gonna go get another Pinocchio.
Yep. Yeah. And can you kind of share what, because now we're talking about the black nobility again. Can you kind of tap into a little bit of that for those who may be late or didn't see our last cipher that we had?
Yeah, so the black nobility is really some melanated beings called Jews. They live in Europe, but they got gated communities in New Jersey and New York where they run our government as the hand behind your friendly local politician called senator, congressman, or president, vice president. They was taking the orders from the people who held the title to the corporation called the United States. They was the stakeholders. And if you know American law, you will know that the prime interest of all of the workers is to maximize the profit of the stakeholders. There's no other reason for them to be there. And the stakeholders was some heavily melanated Scottish Rite Freemasonic Temple members called themselves Moorish Zionist Jews, called themselves Moors, called themselves conquistadors, called themselves Huguenots. They changed their name like regular people change their draws because they don't want you to nail down who they is and where they came from. But because they patterns never change, you can trace them all the way back across the water, over the Iberian Peninsula, through North Africa, through the Turkish Empire, into what they call today the Middle East, into Babylon and Assyria, where they set up the temples in the Babylonian Empire. and they came on Mount Hermon, and they called the fallen ones, and they are the ones that tried to take over. And now we can officially say we handed their ass back to them in such a way.
Yep, there's that. Now, is that tied to what we would see in regards to, excuse me, in the Bible when they talk about those fallen angels? Is that are we talking about the same types of?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The only difference between them and the human is that they got a longer lifespan, and they tend to be non-reproductive with the rest of the humans. That's the major difference. But you can't look at them and say they're not human. From the galactic term for human, Tare, they would be called Tare too. But Tare means from the land of Ra.
Yes, sir. That will go back to Tamari.
Tamari is the land of Mary, or land of the mother, Isis. And they renamed Mary a rebellious woman in Europe under the patriarchal usurping of the divine matriarch. And don't think they ain't had no rotten sluts helping them.
Look, that's how they get to, that's how they slither their way in, man. A lot of times, more times than not, they use the power of the PUSS. You know why? So that's how you get in. Done it. That's a rinse and repeat method that they've done over and over and over again. Unfortunately. Yeah, that's deep. Man, that's deep. So, there's a lot of places I want to go. There's a lot of places I want to go. So now somebody had a good question I want to bring up. It was in regard, here it is right here. They say they talk about the ancient Egyptians adopting the Sphinx. Then how come America has the jaguar temples? And how do you think they adopted the cat as a deity from America or the Maya?
The Sphinx was left way before the construction of the pyramids. It's a timekeeper.
That dates back to the Atlantic era in Lemuria, right?
The reason it was put there is when the age of Leo was coming in, there was supposed to be an alignment that the Sphinx would align with in the stellar motif. You gotta remember, we got something called precession, where over time the stars in the sky are not in the same position as they was once before. And so during the age of Leo, was it Leo, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Leo. Yeah, in the age of Leo. So it was an alignment with that in a commemoration of, that was a woman. The Sphinx was a female lioness.
Yep.
Right. But they recarved her head so that we won't never know that the Sphinx has always been the symbol for the royal blood of the feminine, the Grail blood. The lion has always been the symbol of royalty. This is why you see the statue of Enki holding the lion with one arm and the headlock. Right? Because he's saying he has the royal throne in his grip. You don't have a royal throne as the king if you ain't got the righteous queen.
Can you say that loud? Can you say that one more time for the people in the back?
You can't have the throne as the king without having the righteous queen. She the one who makes you the king. She the kingmaker. No king has been made the king without a woman being made queen first. She had to be the queen in order to give him the rulership right from the creator goddess. It's the same with the gods. The women are creator gods, men are the ruler gods. But the right to rule come from the one who creates. That's simple logic.
That part, yeah, that's deep. It's real deep. But a lot of people don't know that though. And look, and shout out
That's
to
true. Because under the patriarchal system, they would have us believe that somebody could knight you king. The king, the word king traced back to an old term, kung, which means the father of the house. How you gonna be a father if you ain't got nobody to bear children? You can't be the father of the house without the queen of the house. Because that's who you using to raise children. Your children is your legacy because they carry your genetics into the future for you to return back in a different age and see the result of the work you put in ages gone by. So all these babies now and put their work in. They coming back to experience the golden age. Oh, yeah. And we don't have any option but to take the steps to produce the golden age for the next 7 generations because that's why they're here.
Yep.
That's their soul contract.
To elevate our frequency so we can kind of experience this transformation that the planet and the solar system is going through.
Yeah, so when we look back, they was cheating in the game. They was killing off all of the tribal teachers that was using the doctrines given to them to ease in tribal codes for the future. Right? From Noble Juali usurped by some muftis and a secretary, and you got Malcolm X, right? You got all of those Panthers being infiltrated by niggas. Right? So you can't keep saying that the enemy is somebody else when every time a prominent leader rise up to defend you, it's somebody that look like you tearing them down. You have to be wise enough to see that the enemy look more like you than you think. Because the most damage is done by the one that can get closest to the target. You have to worry about the snipers because they far and few between. Right? But you have to worry about the one that come with the smiling face. They even wrote a song about it. Smiling faces, sometimes they don't tell the truth. Right? So we see them come with the handshake. Beware of the handshake that hide the snake. Right? And they make agreements with their fingers crossed behind their back because they never intended to keep the agreement. When we refuse to make agreements with them, they sign the X and say we put our name on it. So sooner or later, we're going to wake up and be like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me it was some black faces that pulled Emmett Till out of them folks' house to protect the community from a imaginary mob that wasn't thinking about him? And then they the only ones don't get charged in the case. But they can't get Emmett Till because the uncles, them old men down there, wouldn't have let no pale face come in there and get no baby. You're not finna do it. We finna have OK Corral in this motherfucker right here. Right? We forget that it was a so-called Hebrew Israelite that shot Martin Luther King mama in the face. In church. A black Jew. We forget Farrakhan said, until we overcome this Jew, we can't get out of this condition because we keep thinking that an Ashkenazi is a Jew or a Sephardi is a Jew or a Khazarian is a Jew. They're not Jews. Them converts. And they're the shield, the blood shield, the Rothschild that conceals the black hand that's saturated with the blood of the righteous. Right? I caught him red-handed. And then I told the people. I showed people what they was doing. Because once you know what they doing, you know how to defend yourself spiritually. Your higher self already know what actions to take when we identify they conjure spells.
That's fact.
Knowing is half the battle. Right? Yep. In one step of action, that's 51%. That's controlling interest in your whole destiny.
Yes, sir.
And when you fully reach your 360-degree vision, that's when you be 100% in control of your destiny.
Whew. Man, listen, we were just talking about that on the show with Arisha Stone. I was talking about that, and I started talking about the elders and the ascended masters and how they got 720 degrees, right? So you said a lot. I got to bring a question up to the floor real quick, then I'm gonna ask mine. Shout out to Miss Ladybug. I say it says, gratitude, Chief. My mama, a bird out of Mississippi with Lee in the name. What tribe are the birds likely from, and what would you do with land in Mississippi?
I think they primarily Choctaw, or Chata is the right name. Choctaw is the Dawes Roll interpretation of the name Chata. In the bird family, the last name is derived from the chicken fry. We used to have bird fries in the South. We used to have pit masters. The Pittman family was the pit masters. They used to do the barbecue contests for the celebrations that Big Mama used to have.
That's deep. Yeah, that's
all you know, the all our names, our tribal names, is related to nature.
Yeah, just like the Orisha and the Netchers.
Yeah. So the people that they call Shaw, those are Shoshone from the Shoshone River region. Upshaw comes from the upper Shoshone, which is the upper Shoshone River region. But that's not their name, that's their geography. But in the English language, because of the exonym of their geography that was thrust upon them by the colonizer, they adopted the last names that represented the location that their tribal origin is from.
Yeah, that's deep. That's real deep. So the I forgot what they call it. What do you call the people in Israel now? The Kazdians. What do you call them again? The Khazarians, right? Okay, so now just for clarity's sake, right? Who are the original ones that they would call, quote unquote, the JEWs? Would that not be folks?
If you look up Mordechai Zionist Jew, you'll see a picture of him. If you look up Adolf Hitler's Black Genocide, you'll see a book about him.
Yeah, that's deep. That's real deep. Okay. All right. So let me see what this is. Yeah, this is deep, man. Like for real. So in regards to hold on, she got one more.
Look, they started calling them Jews, and it had nothing to do with Judah. Right. They started calling them Jews because the royal families traded in jewelry.
So that's an acronym, or is that an acronym, or
it's short for jewelry.
Abbreviation.
Yep.
That's deep. That's real deep.
Yeah. The jewelry, that's why if you go to New York in what they call the Diamond District, all of the high city Jews is walking around with briefcases full of diamonds, but you better not touch one.
Oh, yeah. Well, we see a lot of that in the movies. A lot of movies. Matter of fact, the one that just Ice Cube's son just dropped. What was it? The one, it was part 2. What's the name of that movie? It had the brother, what's the dude named Gerard Butler. Dang, what's the name of that movie? But anyway, they were diamond thieves, and like they kind of played out some of what we're talking about in the movie. But it was 2 of them. I cannot think of the name, but I know somebody in the tribe will drop it in the comments. But that definitely brings me to
them was the ones that the police been protecting since it was New Amsterdam. That's who the police came over here to be security for. Those are converts. And the jewelry badge that they wear on their lapels in Europe tell them which allegiance to which one of the black nobility families they have. Right? If you type in European royal black face brooch, it'll come up and you'll see it on their lapel pin. That's telling you the family that pale face is have an allegiance with, that give them something that look like power.
Yeah, that's real deep. I'm trying to find a comment. It was a good question. I'm trying to find it. It was somebody that wanted to, I want to find it so I can bring it up. But I believe the question was, can you break down what the difference is in regards to last names, with the last name White and I think Brown? Is there any symbolism to that?
Yeah, the Brown is Cleveland Indians. Last name Brown. Browns used to be one of the biggest clans of Mississippians on the land. The ones who got the name White was actually being classified as don't touch this family. So they was one of the 9 treaty tribes who was off limits to the colonizers, or else they would make the rest of the tribes nut the fuck up by royal status.
Now, when you say the royal status, are you talking about the people in England, or
tribally over here? Okay. Our royalty don't look like European royalty.
Got you.
Like our big mamas sit in front of the big house. They used to be called Big Mama House until she got poisoned by a Dirty Moor. And then he hired his pale face management crew to pretend to be Massa.
Yeah, that's deep. That's real deep.
And they kept them in line with something called slave patrols or police.
Yep. Here we go, right here. This was the question. Now, how does that pretty much the receipts that I see that everything is confirming everything you're saying is the footage that, if y'all want to look it up, family, of the Pope before he transitioned, going down the line, kissing the feet of what we call the black nobility. How does that tie in? Like, is that what we're talking about? That police force that ran through that Vatican and the papal and all,
Those are the owners. Those are the owners. Those are the Pope's handlers. Those are the ones whose bidding he's been doing. But now they got to give it all back because they lost the war. Look, they used to, when they moved to Switzerland to be the world's bankers, they built an underground city under the Alps. Used to didn't even acknowledge the underground city until Donald Trump got elected in 2017, and Interpol, along with several foreign militaries, went in there and raided them. And now they've been cleaned out, and they're doing tours of it now.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll be gosh darned.
Yeah. Wow. And then they trying to act like the defense stuff they had, they trying to act like it ain't been operational in years. They just dismantled that stuff.
That's deep.
Now remember, Switzerland is the only neutral country in the world
that's never been in a war.
Well, they was in a war before they became the neutral country.
Since then, they have no.
It was the 1800s.
Okay, right.
That's when the Dirty Moors used the cover of the war to flee into Switzerland. And that's when they recruited the Khazarians to be their cover story, to keep them a secret while they rule as the man behind the curtain. The Khazarian Jews was the cat's paw for those black Jews. They sent them to places to do their bidding, but before that, before the 1800s, they came themselves. Christopher Columbus was one. His navigator, Pedro del Negro, was one. They was being exiled in the Inquisition in the French Revolution. Remember, they formed a great inquisitor to oust the Moors from Europe. They made it look like it was a religious conflict of Christians versus Muslims, but it was Europeans ousting the settler colonizer Moors that came in 711. Right? They told us that they civilized them people. Right? If you understand the effects that civilization can have on uncivilized people, they would see you as a god. So my question is, why would they kick them out? Why would you kick God out your land? What was they doing? But when you look at the statues over there, they show you what they was doing. They was eating babies. They was molesting kids. They was drinking blood. They was doing blood magic rituals, money magic rituals, sex magic rituals. It's in the artwork over there. You can't walk through Rome and turn 2 blocks and don't see a bunch of peckers hanging in your face. Statuary of priests with his gown wrapping around young boys.
Sick shit.
Yeah, that's why they got kicked out.
It's disgusting.
They don't want to admit it though.
Nah.
Because they want to get the appearance of being the bringers of civilization. But according to the castles on this land, we was already civilized.
That part. Big facts. Yeah, that's deep. And you know what? It's funny that you say that because I was going to bring up the point of the petroglyphs, right? The petroglyphs that we find in a lot of the caves, you know, in the crevices of the earth. Does that not depict and tell some of the ancient antiquity stories that we're talking about now, and kind of like how the hieroglyphs play in
not only the ancient stories, but it also tells the current story. It's like reading a tarot card. That's why a tarot card is even a thing.
God damn,
yes, remember, the history was wrote in advance and we lived it out in reverse. Right? So we coming up on the grand finale. Sooner or later, they gonna have to tell y'all who's who on the planet Earth. Who's the rightful heir? Who is the one who came to solve the problem of the colonizers on the land without going to bloody war to educate themselves above the condition? They gonna have to tell y'all. Right? Because the ones who's doing the work can't tell y'all that and expect y'all to believe it because they've conditioned us that none of us ain't smart enough to figure out how to get from out of their trap. That ain't what my mama said.
They failed that miserably.
You know what I say?
Yeah,
They feel like that, but that ain't what my mama said.
Right, and that's why I say they failed at that miserably.
I believe my mama over all of them.
I know that's right. All day, every day. And you know, it reminds me of the and I was just talking about this like maybe a day or two ago, but like what we're talking about when you talk about the black nobility and those dirty Moors, for those who have seen the Haitian Revolution, the documentary 1804, you know, it's the collaborators, you know what I'm saying? Like
Look,
those
Napoleon wasn't no pale face. Napoleon Bonaparte wasn't no pale face. But if you look at the depictions that they give us in the history books, he was a Huguenot. Huguenot is dark Frenchman. When he took he sent his brother. He didn't even go himself. He sent his brother to command the troops in the Haitian aggression. Should have left them people alone, because he get the spiritual ass whooping now.
Yes, sir. That's funny, because that's what McIntyre told them too. He said, "Yeah, y'all might kill me now, but trust me, I'm coming back as a mosquito." And he came back, dumping off malaria. Listen, boy, we got some powerful, you know, warriors. And
look, after the Haitian Revolution, look at the Haitian migration pattern, and you're gonna find they went to two places: Florida and Louisiana.
And that goes back to what we talked about in the last episode when it comes to those two places.
The Gullah Wars was going on in Florida. They sent soldiers to fight because Big Mama said all hands on deck. Samoans sent people, Tongans sent people, Hawaiians sent people, Asians that lived in Alaska sent people to Florida. All of the Mississippian collective tribes across the land was sending all of their people south and east. This is what made them set up Georgia. Georgia was never supposed to be a state. It was a military buffer zone to stop the